Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video is a continuation of our knee series videos, knee health, knee stability and support. And we are going to be stretching and mobilizing our feet today, the very foundation of our bodies. So I have with me, I'm just sitting on a box. You can sit on a chair as long as your feet can touch the ground, maybe like a 90-degree angle with your legs, or a bench or whatever you have. And you can be on the floor. It might be a little tricky if you have really tight hips, but just you decide what's best for you. I have a towel, just a regular towel or rag, and then one sock. So just be sure to have that or find something in your home that will work similar to those two items. And we are just going to start with waking up the feet. So sitting on your chair, whatever you have, let's cross your right ankle over your left knee. And we're just going to start by circling that right foot. And you can put your left hand on your foot and kind of guide it. And I just want you to open up your toes and just look at your foot. Can you open your toes, right? We kind of discussed that in a earlier video. Can you get daylight between each toe? And then go the other direction. Now when you're doing circles with your ankles, I want you to slow it down because you can get your range of motion a lot bigger if you slow it down. And I want you to feel through that circle that you're pulling the pinky toe towards your face, and then as you go down and back around, you're pulling the pinky toe away from your face, right? So we're just getting a full range of motion through that entire ankle. And then go ahead and release, wiggle it out. And I want you to point your toes, take your left hand, and just pull on the top of your foot and curl your toes towards you, right? You're going to feel that stretch in the front of your foot, front of the ankle and shin possibly. And then go ahead and take your palm and press your toes towards your shin, right? And if you want to take your other hand to help, that can give you a little bit more of a stretch. You'll feel the stretch underneath the arch of your foot. And then do that again. Take your palm, press it on the tops of your toes, and just pull it towards you. So your toes are curling. Think of the tips of your toes curling to your heel, like you're cupping the foot, right? You're curling like a C-shaped curve. And then look down and make sure that your pinky toe and your big toe are curling equally. We're not turning in or turning out, right? Do that one more time, pushing the toes away. Flex your toes. Try to get your toes, your toenails, towards the top of your foot. And make sure that you remember that pinky toe. Don't let the pinky toe slack there. So really pull that pinky toe back as well. And then you're going to release. Can you get a fingertip between each toe, right? Just try to space them out, just kind of like yoga toes, or if you've ever seen those little spacers when you do your nails, right? Your toenails. And then we're just going to press back again, trying to separate those toes, make it a little different stretch in there. And then release, and you can curl it the other way and use both hands to help. And so if you've ever had plantar fasciitis, this is a great stretch for you, right? To stretch between the ball of the foot and the heel, that arch where we tend to feel that plantar fasciitis. Do that one more time, release. Good. Last time, keeping the fingertips between the toes, just press back, thinking of your toenails going towards the top of your foot or towards the front of your ankle. And then release and just kind of shake it out. And now I just want you to take your thumbs and just massage the bottom of your foot. Just dig in there. Some of us have really thick feet, so don't be afraid to dig in and separate those toes, just waking up the foot. We have a lot of tendons, a lot of ligaments, a lot of little muscles within our feet, and if they are tight for so many years, stuck in small shoes, that tightness leads up to our calves and our shins, and eventually leads up to our knees and our inner thighs, outer thighs, and to our hips. So it just travels the whole way up. The more mobility and flexibility you have in your feet, the more mobility and flexibility you have the rest of the way up, because they are our foundation, remember. So then go ahead and relax that, circle it out, okay? And now I want you to take your toes, the big toe and the toe next to it, and just kind of scissor them apart. Right? See if you can get a nice stretch between each one, just scissoring them. Obviously just, go at your range of motion. And when you scissor, just give a little pull out. So we're trying to pull the toes away from your foot, right? Just a little pull, just stretching between those joints. And then work your way down, second toe and third toe, and just pull them apart. Nice and slow. And if you want to hold the stretch, you can, right? And just give a little pull. And then work your way to the next toes, the third toe and the fourth toe, and just scissoring them apart. It feels good. And you should feel again the pull. And if you have somebody next to you, maybe they can do it and they can pull. It's almost easier if somebody comes from the front and then pull on your toes. Gives it a nice little stretch. And then work your way down to your fourth toe and your pinky toe. Scissor them apart. And just notice, are any of your toes stuck in a curled position? You know, are they just stuck tight with the knuckles being white and stuck in that curled position? Are you able to straighten them out? Okay. If not, that's like you walking around with your hands like this all day. And can you imagine working with your fingertips curled all day long, right? You won't have a lot of success there. So think of your toes as the same way. You want to be able to straighten and stretch those toes. Good. Now just go ahead and take maybe the big toe and little toe and do the same thing. So it's more of the whole foot moving, right? And then just play around. Just pick any toe and just scissor them apart. And then really shake it out. Big circles both ways. Good. Shake out your shoulders. And now from here, I just want you, the same massage that we did on the bottom of your foot, I just want you to massage the top of your foot. It's a little bit more tender, right? You can kind of feel where those lines, where those ligaments go. Just kind of lightly dig your fingertips in and just stretch down. Sometimes that feels good. Some of you might be a little tender there and you might have to go a little bit lighter, right? Just do what's comfortable for you. Good. Do that one more time. And now I just want you with fists just to kind of hit the foot, hit the bottom of the foot, the heel, the arch, just kind of wake it up. Just nicely light little pats. And if you don't want to do the fist, you can do your hands, just kind of slap it. Just getting the foot to kind of tingle and wake up. Good. And then release. Let's do that all on the other side. So you'll feel the difference once you put your foot down, that maybe this foot that we just did, the right foot, is a little bit more on, a little bit more vibrant and tingly maybe, right? So we got some nerves working, we got the blood supply working. Let's do the same thing to the left foot. So cross the ankle over. And you are just going to take your right hand and put it on top of your foot and just curl the toes towards your heel and just get a nice stretch through the shin, through the top of the foot, and just notice if this side is any different. When you look down, just notice if maybe your big toe curls but your little toe doesn't. Try to make all toes curl equally. And then let's reverse that. You press the other way. If you want to use both hands, you can, right? And then think about your toenails pulling back to your ankle. So your toes are pulling back as well. It's not just the arch, but you should be feeling the arch. Go ahead and do that again. Take that top hand and just pull like you're making a C-shaped curve with your foot, right? Cupping the arch. And again, feel that all up the top of the foot and the shin. Big toe curls equal to the little toe, vice versa. Let's do that one more time. Press back. And again, if you have plantar fasciitis, this is a great stretch for you to do multiple times a day. It doesn't take very long. So just when you're sitting at your desk or whatnot, you can, it's better to do without a shoe, but you can keep your socks on. And then release. And now let's take one finger between each toe and just space them out, just like we would a toe spacer, little yoga toes, right? And now just notice if one foot is better than the other. This one I have more flexibility, range of motion to get my fingertips between the toes. And you are just going to press back again. So same exercise, but we're just trying to separate those toes apart. And then pull the other direction. Good. Do that one more time each way. You press back, try to flex those toes back so the toenails are going back towards your ankle. And then make sure the pinky toe is equal to the big toe so we're not turning in or turning out on that foot. And then curl them the other way. Good. And then release, kind of circle out that foot, shake it out. And then again, we're just going to grab onto the big toe and the toe next to it, the second toe, and just scissor them apart slowly. And give a little pull out, like you're pulling the toes away from your foot, just stretching, getting space between each joint, right? Each little toe joint, you're just pulling away. And then work your way down the second toe and the third toe. Just grab on right by the toenail and just kind of pull out and scissor them apart. And go slow, be mindful of it, right? And then work your way down to the third and fourth toe and feel that nice stretch. And then the fourth toe and your pinky toe. Just kind of pulling them apart, scissoring. And then just pick whatever toes. Maybe it's your pinky toe and your third toe. Scissor those apart. And then switch it up again. Just find whichever toe you want, right? Just scissor them apart. You can do little circles but still keep that pulling motion, right? And then go ahead and release, shake it out. You're going to take your thumbs or your knuckles, whatever feels good, and just massage the bottom of your foot all over. Notice if you have any tender spots, right? Maybe you have a tender spot that you just want to hold. You can just hold like a little pressure point with that thumb in there, right? And just feel what's tight, if anything, all the way down to the heel. Make sure that you get the arch, dig in. And then release, and let's do the other side. So you just want to massage gently, a little bit more gently than the other side, right? Because this is pretty tender. Just kind of dig in right between the tendons and ligaments between each toe. Maybe going up and going down. And just notice your toes. Look at them and see if on this foot, if your toes stay curled. Are your knuckles of your toes white? Can you stretch them out? Just take note, right? Do you have space between all 5 toes, or maybe one toe overlaps the other and it's stuck there? And then release, and let's go ahead and just take our fists and just kind of wake it up back and forth, right? Hitting the heel, hitting the arch, just lightly, lightly. Again, be careful on the front of the top of the foot. It's a little bit more gentle. And then release, just circle it out. Can you separate your toes? Good. And then circle the other direction. And then release. Okay, place that foot down and notice the 2 feet. They should be both woken up. So now earlier, or maybe I haven't, but I thought I mentioned hammer toes and bunions. And so I want to discuss that a little bit. So if you're looking down at your feet on the floor, just notice where all toes lie, right? You want to face them straight ahead. Do any toes overlap here? Can you pick them all up and separate them out? Remember in a different video we did this. We tried to separate all the toes and whatnot. We're going to do that here. Try to pick them up and separate them all out. And just notice if one foot is different than the other, one toe is different than the other. And notice if you have a hammer toe forming or a bunion forming on the inside of your big toe. This is where the sock comes into play. So I have one sock, and you're going to take the opening of the sock and place it around your 2 big toes, and you can scrunch it up, right? All right, so the sock is around our 2 big toes. You're going to focus on keeping your feet sit bone distance apart, your knees sit bone distance apart. And if for any reason this doesn't feel right on your feet, if you have a hammer toe or a bunion that you're dealing with and it's almost too much pressure, too much of a stretch, you're going to wrap the sock around your first 2 toes, right? So know that that's always an option, or you can even go the first 3 toes. Just play around with it. It shouldn't be painful though. So if you can do just the big toe, let's start there. And again, line yourself up so that your thighs are parallel. Your feet are parallel. Heels are equal to each other, right? One foot isn't more forward than the other. Toes are facing forward. Place your hands on your thighs. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Now we're just going to pull apart on that sock, okay? And then release back to center. Both feet are going to turn out and then release back to center. Now, goal is to keep your kneecap staring straight ahead. If you watch me, what often happens is we turn out the feet, but we also let the thighs move out, right? We don't want to do that. We want to keep the thighs parallel. And can you rotate just at your feet and ankles? So really important to keep all 10 toes down. Pinky toes all the way to your big toes. We have a tendency to float the feet up and overflex to do this. Can you just brush your toes, all 10 toes, along the floor the whole time out and the whole time in? And just keep an eye on those thighs and on the knees. Make sure they're not twisting. And just notice if one foot has more range of motion than the other. Or maybe you feel a stretch all the way up into your knee on one side but not the other. And now as you're doing this, I just want to talk a little bit about what's happening. In an earlier video, I talked about how our knee joint had a very small rotation ability, right? We know we have rotation in our thigh bones. We can turn out and turn in our thighs, which affects the knee as well. But we also have a very small range of motion of twisting that happens at our shins underneath the kneecap. So our shin bones are twisting, but our thigh bones are not. And it's a very small ability, right? We don't want a huge range of motion there. So that's why you're not going to pull apart on that sock very much, okay? And so as you turn out, if you're looking at your thighs are staying parallel, but your shin bones, ankles, and toes are turning out, external rotation, and turning back in. Are you able to do that in your own body, right? Without dropping the knees in and without dropping the knees out. So knees stay parallel. Do that one more time. Are all 10 toes still down on the mat? I'm kind of cheating, okay? Just caught myself. Now place your left foot down. Let's just go to the right side. So the toes, again, just brush the mat. They got to stay down, equal, right? All 5 toes equal. Just pull the right leg out and then back in. You might be able to isolate it a little bit better, the rotation, when we do one leg at a time. I feel this all the way up my shin bone into my kneecap. It should not be pain. It should just be a little stretch or muscles working to rotate, right? The kneecap is staring straight ahead. The thigh is not moving out or in. Let's do that 2 more times. Keep the thigh parallel. Just twist the shin bone. Can you keep all 5 toes on the mat? Do that one more time. That small rotation. And then back in. Set your right foot down. It's parallel. And now go over to the left leg. Keep that left leg still, the thigh bone, and twist the foot and ankle shin out. And then back to parallel. Notice if you compensate by letting that knee and thigh drop in or out, and try to keep it staring straight ahead. Can you keep all 5 toes on the mat? Big toe all the way down to your pinky toe, and you're just sliding and twisting out. And back in. Let's do that 2 more times. Slide and twist out. And back in. 1 more time. This is excellent for hammer toes, bunions, right? And back in. And then slowly come down and release that sock. And I just want to talk real briefly about hammer toes and bunions. If you have such a thing, you would see a little, a soft little bump right on the outside of your foot, outside of your big toe. And what that is you're most likely shoving your feet into small shoes all day long, and it's shoving this big toe over, which then pushes this bone outward, okay? And so you might see an overlap of the little toe on the big toe or vice versa, and it's pushing this bone on the side out. So then your whole gait is changed, because if that bone's pushing out, it's kind of uncomfortable to walk on it, so we tend to turn out. You know, we change our whole gait, our whole alignment, which affects our knee all the way up. So that sock trick that I just gave you, what it does is it's pulling your toe in the opposite direction, therefore snugging that bone back in to its correct alignment, to its correct space. Now, with that said, if you've had a bunion or a hammer toe for years, it's going to take a while to try to realign your foot. So I'm talking maybe 3 times a day with that exercise. Real simple, just find a minute or 2 just to do it, and you'll notice a big difference. So if you have any questions on that, please feel free to email me or contact me. We're going to move right along, and I have a towel. And it's just a kitchen towel. And you're going to place it down underneath your right foot. Your heel's going to be on it. Go ahead and grab the other end of that towel, and I just want you to pull up. You can use both hands, and you're just going to pull up, keeping your heel down. So it's just a nice little stretch underneath your arch, and then release it down. Can you pull up equally? So the big toe and little toe pull equally. You're not letting the little toe slack. You're not letting the big toe slack. Pull up. And then back down. Do that 1 more time on this side, just pulling up, stretching underneath the arch, just lightly. And again, this is great for plantar fasciitis. And then you're going to switch sides. Put it underneath your left. Go ahead and grab onto the end of the towel. Keep your heel down and just pull up. And one side might feel completely different. Like in this side, I do feel it in my calf. Nice little stretch. Big toe and pinky toe pull equally, pulling the toes back towards your shin. And then release. Do that 2 more times, just pulling up. Can you get the ball of your foot off of the floor, but keep your heel down? And then release 1 more time, just pulling up. And then back down. Good, and then release. Go ahead and get rid of that towel for now, and just wiggle your toes. And now as you're looking at your toes, separate them. See if you have more mobility now than when you started, right? Just wiggle them around. If you need to manipulate them with your hands, you can, grabbing on again. Good. All right. And so go ahead and set all 10 toes down. lift your heels up, just stretching the front. Set your heels down, lift your toes up, flex, pull apart the toes. Set your toes down, lift your heels up. Set your heels down, lift your toes up, separate them apart. One more time, set the toes down, lift your heels up. Set your heels down, lift your toes up, separate them apart, and rest. Good. All right, so that was just a couple stretches for you to do, nice and simple, not too hard to remember. Do them every day. If you have really tight feet, if some of these stretches are like, oh man, my toe's not moving at all, or I'm not getting that space or that range of motion, I would highly recommend that you continue to do both videos. I had another one on how to strengthen your arch. So go through that video on how to strengthen your arch, this video on how to mobilize and create flexibility within the feet, right? And that's really going to help you keep strong, healthy knees from here on out. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.